ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਫਰੀਦਾ ਕਾਲੇ ਮਹਿੰਦੇ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਕਾਲਾ ਮਹਿੰਦਾ ਵੇਸ ਗੁਨਹੀ ਪਰਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਫਿਰਾਂ ਲੋਕ ਕਹੈ ਦਰਵੇਸ ਤੂੰ ਦਰਿਆਓ ਦਾਨਾ ਬੀਨਾ मैं मछली कैसे अंत लहा जह जह देखा तह तह तू है तुझते निकसी फूट मरा हम अब गुण परे एक गुण नाही अमृत छाड़ बिखै बिख खाई माया मोह परम पै पूले सुतदारा स्यों प्रीत लगाई एक उत्तम पंथ सुनियो गुर संगत देह मिलंत जम त्रास मिटाई एक अरदास पाठ कीरत की गुर रामदास राखो शरणाई दंडोत बंधन अनक बार सर्व कला समरथ डोलन तेरा खो प्रभु नानक दे कर हथ डोलन तेरा खो प्रभु नानक दे कर हथ वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ there's a quality of listening as well, है ना? Sukha Singh mentioned it the other day as well. The Sunna 8 in the Mara the four podiya, है ना? They speak about in Japji Sahib, the very first podiya, है ना? Sunya Siddh Pir Sarnath, Pinna Sare Siddh Vagara. To get to the Avastha of Sunya, that's the Avastha of a Sadhu, of Siddh Pir Sarnath. All of these guys, the ones Guru Nanak Dev Ji mentioned, they're all at the Avastha of Sunya. That's the very first level of Sunya Mada Chakra. Chalo, we're not going to discuss that, but even Sunnah, we're going to try. It might seem a little bit dry and whatever, but it doesn't matter. We'll just take the conversation wherever we need to. But one thing before we begin, I know in this camp, I was discussing, Digby Singh messaged me, I think like a few months ago, and he just mentioned this camp or whatever. I wasn't sure until I found out I was coming to New York, and I was like, oh, then we found out we can come. Then he's like, the theme is Mahapurush, कि हम संतन की ऋण प्यारे हम संतन की शरणा. And when Swami Ji, I was just speaking outside with Swami Ji. I know Sadhu, there's so many great Mahapurushs that we have here. Bhagat Ji, I've known Bhagat Ji since I was about 7 years old, and we met here in Toronto when I was 7 years old. There's a cool story from that. And then Swami Ji, and then even Sukha Singh, chalo apam chalo is young and all this kind of stuff. But seriously, I wouldn't be doing Katha today if it wasn't for Sukha Singh. He's helped me a lot in my life as well. The Sadhu Gur Sikhan di Sangat, even chalo Jigraj, he's a bit more, he does more Jodi and all this kind of stuff. I highly respect him as well. And even chalo he speaks, he's like, let's talk about the Panth. That's Jigraj, you know? That's his way of taking things. But so jinne bhi hai Gurmukh pyare, jinne bhi hai I'm here and listening to. I was at previous camps that I come to, leading up to this camp, you know? And so it was like first camp, chalo, good teaching the kids, and I was like, chalo, this next camp. The next kid got a little bit better, at least they knew how to keep them. The next camp, they knew what a Kirpan was. It just kept on going and going. And I come to this campus, like, there was such karni the. So here, I'm going to say it again, I don't know anything, you know? I'm not worthy of teaching you guys. But upon Gurmat Vichar, you know, in a way where we can discuss, I want to learn from you guys, you know, so we'll begin discussing. But before that, let's just have a vichar about what this word, what do we think this word, and spiritual enlightenment, this rasta that we want to walk. If there's a student that, that's young and they want to grow up and they want to become a doctor, for example, or somebody wants to become a lawyer, somebody wants to become an astronaut, whatever, they have a goal in mind, right? So they realize, okay, what do I need to do in order to meet my goal? So same thing with here in this world of Sikhi, this world of Dharma, if you want to call it. What's your goal? Is it spiritual enlightenment? Is it getting the Gyan? Is it Gurvani Japji Sahib Maharaj in the Gyan Khand, Gyan Prachand, in the phase of Gyan Khand? उदों फिर ज्ञान दे विच चानना हुंदा you get enlightened through the ज्ञान ते also ज्ञान दे अर्थ what is ज्ञान दे अर्थ is wisdom knowledge गे आन meaning अंदरों is अंदरों जिहड़ी चीज़ पाई करदे अपने अंदर की अपने अंदरों अकाल पुरख है so it's the अनुभव it's the experience in which you get the real gyan. It's not coming from a book. It's coming from what your true experience of. That's what true gyan is. Right? So that's when somebody says, "Hey, you're gyaning," it's like, "I'm not a gyan. I'm just a gyan." So it's this word. Let's just have a discussion. What do you think this word means, even? This thing called janana, this thing called spiritual enlightenment. I can't. I don't know. I don't know what it is either. Because if I knew that, I wouldn't be here with you. But that thing is which we're trying to strive is, if this is our goal, okay, we want to become one with God, which we hear about in Sikhi. Just like water merges with water, you completely become one because that water is not separate from Akal Purkh anymore. And we know all this theory. But the way your mind works, I know there was a few questions and stuff like that where everybody was asking Swami Ji and everybody was asking there. Like I've spent a lot, everything I'm teaching is not from me. Things that I've learned from Guru Sikhs, some things that I've learned from Mahampurkh, spending time with them. And asal de vich, there's many people try to find Sikhi, trying to find Akal Purkh without Sadhu Di Sangat. It's very tough. Only through a Puran Sadhu can you find Akal Purkh. I know when you're speaking about that elsewhere, it's hard to understand that. We can just read Gurbani, Vagera. But one thing is, but the person that actually grab your hand and put you lead that way, and even on that path that keeps pushing you, tells you not to fall off the path and keeps you on it. But somebody that doesn't know what the path is like, or somebody that hasn't walked that path before, they won't know. They can't tell you to, hey, well, be careful, there's something that's coming on your left side. They won't know that, right? So somebody that's actually done that, they can teach you along that way. So this word, spiritual enlightenment, ideas. When you were Gyani, they mean doing lessons, side parts and stuff. Karke, this is kind of like we thought of a phase where, for example, spiritual enlightenment, or Kalo Darshan of Akal Purkh. Well, what we think typically, Apa Bethe Homange, and Smadhi Lai Hogi, you'll have a white chadar over top of us in a room. And a bunch of clouds will be like, Maharaj, Darshan Dijiye, and a bunch of clouds will come. And this guy will walk out with long ropes, he'll have a staff, and he'll be like, come for you, China. That's the one. It's like, who are you? It's like, I'm God. That's what we wait for. We're sitting there, karke, and we're sitting there and we're waiting, God, darshan dijiye. It's like, where are you? But it's that suksham drishti, when you understand what Akal Purkh is, and then you can begin looking in the right place. The person that teaches you to look in the right place is that sadhu. So something that we say this word santa. So sassa, like Vidhavan Gyanis, Mahampurkh themselves have broken down this word. Sassa just means seva and simran. Simple. Tatta means tyag, detachment completely. They have simran and they have no tyag. They have tyag. They're not attached to the world. And then the tippi that's on top, the N sound on top is nimarta, keeping both of these things together. Right? So sasse, tatta, tippi, simran, tyag, and nimarta. These three things, this is what makes up a Puran Santa. So, again, like, it's hard to understand what you actually are. So they grab you, somebody that has that, who's completely detached from the world, they can tell you, okay, and all this. So first, three things that we find in our lives that we try to do. This little flow chart thing I've made is a little bit practical, and I've taken different jalo japji sides which kei cheezaं hondiyan and sadhus and vagera gurbani which antish karan antay karan gal hondi hai. And antish karan basically it means looking at this beh karan, looking on the outside, and antish karan is something that's looking on the inside. So, but these three things before I want to begin. Have you ever heard these words before? Achar, not the achar that you eat with the roti. It's like achar, sabhav, and shakshiyat.
Sabhav and shakshiyat, not achar.
You've heard of shakshiyat?
Yeah.
Okay, have you heard of achar?
No.
Okay, Gurbani the which they speak about achar as in the daily conduct of a Gursikh. He achara Sikhri, right? Maharaj, this is the Gursikh's daily conduct. So achar means your actions, basically, your achar. And then sabha basically means ida changa sabaya, mada sabaya. That basically is character. Yeah, so personality, the person's nature. Shakshiyat is basically the person's like embodiment. What does that person become? And all of these things that just arise from the simple thing called the mind. So our actions, they all come from the mind. Our sabha, personality, it's all coming from the mind. What we embody, it's all coming from a part of our mind as well. I know you guys are Vidwans, so I'm just going to quickly go through this. I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm going to say mind is a simple thing. It thinks. And I'm sure, I know you're aware of this kind of stuff, where Sankalp and Vikalp. Have you heard of those words before? Because I know we were all talking to Swamiji and everybody else about these words as well, but still a few people had this question after they didn't understand what a Sankalp and the difference between a Vikalp is. Are we all aware of that? So I'll explain it in a small group. If you have further questions about this, of course you can ask the great Gursikhs here that are here. So Sankalp is something that I guess you can translate it to a conscious thought. Sankalp is where, for example, I have this thing, again, it's Swamiji's holding his glasses, So if I have this thing, this clicker is sitting right there, and I have a conscious that I want to pick it up, it's a thought that's ingrained in my mind, and I'm doing Simran of that thought. So I'm remembering, I'm thinking about it. That is called a Sankalpa. Vikalp is an unconscious thought. So Vikalp could be anything. For example, like you just see a Tibetan, you're listening to Katha, or you're in the Darbar, you're doing Kirtan, and somebody walks in and they're wearing like a blue suit. That blue suit reminds you of your old blue car you used to have. Now your old blue car, your brother crashed, you don't talk to your brother anymore because you got in a fight, but you want to because your mom is very nice, but you haven't met your mom in about 2 months because you've been traveling around. And when are you gonna get to go home? And maybe in a few months or so. In a few months, that's almost as long as I haven't seen my friend. 2 months. I saw her 2 months ago as well. It's like I talked to my friend because we used to go to junior high together. She wanted to become an astronaut. I wonder what's happening with astronaut. There was like Neil Armstrong was the first astronaut, whatever. He's the black guy. What's happening with the Black Rights Movement? Anyways, how many words, whatever. So, but you're still sitting there. Like you're still doing the exact same thing. That you're physically doing something, but unconsciously or consciously your mind is somewhere else. That's why they say your man and tan, you're not aware. So your body is present, but your mind isn't present. So your mind isn't actually listening. So these two types of thoughts, but your Vikalp can turn into Sankalp. They're both a thought, basically.
Wait, sorry, which one was the Sankalp?
Sankalp is conscious.
Conscious, and then
Vikalp is unconscious.
Okay.
There's more in depth to those.
Yeah,
This is
but
very
that's just
sukhi.
preliminary. Yeah. Okay.
When you think something, for example, pani di bottle pai samne, and I'm thirsty at a Sankalp, or I'm just talking to you guys and forget all day. I saw somebody else heard water spill, or just driving. I was like, I haven't drank water all morning. It made me thirsty. Chalo, main pani di bottle dekh li, right? Through my gyanendri, my eyes saw that. Gyanendri just basically means, we'll discuss about that in a second. But Gyanendri are anything that give your mind gyan. So tell you about the world. So your eyes, your 5 senses basically. So I see that water bottle there. I can't just be like, quench my thirst, like my switcha. It's like unless I have like the force or something, like something crazy, So I have to do something with that, and then I have to like quench my thirst. That thing is called simply inaction. So, and basically we call that a karma as well. So obviously karma isn't like a scary word. Basically the literal definition just basically means action. Just karma kamana, idam gara karna. So just socha, just karma kamala. But you have the power here. What you can do is you can cut it off there. You can prevent it from becoming an action. So aam karke, for example, you thode man de vich कोई काम दा आ गया, क्रोध दा आ गया, लोभ दा आ गया, मोह दा आ गया, कुछ भी आ गया. It's all come into your mind, but you have the power within your mind to not turn it into action. Right? You can let the thought comes into your mind, you could ignore it, right? You could not give importance to it. So the vikalp comes into your mind, but you don't give importance to it. So then way it's not, but if you start doing Simran of that, then basically you're going to start finding a connection that's going to, then eventually you won't be able to forget it because you did Simran of it, you practiced that. Huh? So for example, Kaam da gaya, Lobh da gaya, Panji leaves $5 there, till I saw it, whatever, let the thought pass. Or I just didn't even notice the $5. But Jay Ote $5 I look at it, it's like, I want a Slurpee. I don't $5. So for myself, and then I'm like, no, yes, no, in my mind. But I haven't turned it into an action yet. The very first time is difficult. I'm speaking on a practical level here. Eventually, I convince my mind, I steal somebody's prior hug. I steal their $5. Next time, okay, tomorrow she leaves $10 there. $10 they pay. I'm like, no, yes, no. But it's like, it's easier for me, so she has lots of money. I need it more. I grab that as well. As that keeps on going and going, I keep on doing stealing, I keep on stealing, eventually that's going to become a habit. No? So when that basically becomes a habit, when it's repeated over and over, it becomes effortless. So somebody, for example, wants to go to the gym, they want to get a six-pack, they have a thought of health, health, six-pack, it doesn't work like that. So first you have to make an action, you have to make an effort, right? So just see, when you make an effort towards, with your own mind towards, Sachai, if you walk this path of Sikhi, and you want to have that cha to learn. We come into sadhu on the sangat, you have these actions, but if you could be repeating the wrong thoughts and the wrong actions, you won't even realize, even though you may be calling yourself on this path. It's not within your unless somebody tells you, somebody gives you, puts those thoughts in your mind and tells you that you're walking the right path. So it's effortlessly, it becomes effortless. When somebody is working out, somebody that goes to the gym every single day, they can't live a day without going to the gym. Why? Because it's a habit now. Whereas somebody else, they see the Coke and it's like, oh, Coke, Whereas somebody else, that they didn't even look at Coke, for example, somebody like Bhagat Ji, that's here, They say the only reason all the health problems, all these problems are people that why they can't is because everyone's eating the wrong type of food. Right? Simply, that's basically the underlying message that they're saying. Nobody's reading Gurwani properly and nobody's eating healthy. Right? They're not learning and eating properly. So, when basically I'm just gonna skip through this. When it becomes a habit, it effortlessly increases the tendency to do that. So when you're working out, you're waking for Amrit Vela, one person says, and they're not used to it. And whereas somebody else, they wake up for Amrit Vela, 2 a.m., 1 a.m. for the last, 40 years. So how do you do it? It's like, I don't know. And the other person was like, because your thoughts, your mind, you get distracted. We've all been there, I'm gonna sleep early tonight. And then you go in the morning, you just end up doing so many things, sitting on your phone, Facebook, then wake up in the morning, you stay up really, really late, and then the next morning comes, you miss something, I was like, you know what, tonight I'm going to sleep early, and the next day, it's a cycle. So these things, they start affecting your body, mind, and intellect, right? So it starts affecting your body. For example, somebody nasha khanda hai, sab kuch karda hai. We could pull up a video. YouTube no, I think that's why I don't have it right now. But basically, I'll explain. There's a video. My friend, he's a Muslim friend who was in Calgary. Then he did an social experiment on the street. The YouTube videos on YouTube. What he does is he goes to a whole bunch of homeless guys in Calgary, and he has this happy meal, a big meal of McDonald's. So hey, how are you doing today? I want to give you this McDonald's meal. And the homeless guy is like so happy. He's like, oh, thank you so much. I was so hungry. I haven't eaten in days. I don't know if I was going to get another meal or not. And you're like God sent you, came and gave me this food. Then when he's about to give it to him, okay, here, I want to make you a deal. That you can either have this or I'm going to give you another option. But you can only have one or the other. Then he pulls out a pack of cigarettes. He says, you can have the Happy Meal or you can have the pack of cigarettes. And he starts thinking, I'll go for the pack of cigarettes. And then he starts thinking that, hold on, I thought you were hungry. You haven't eaten, you just said you hadn't eaten for 3 days. Why don't you want the food, don't you want that? And he says, no, I'm explaining. So there's he starts thinking, I I would rather have the pack of cigarettes. Then when he says the cigarettes, he's like, you know what, I'll make you another deal. He pulls out a bottle of rum, full bottle of alcohol. He puts it there. He's like, puts all these three down, and he says, yeah, I can have the full meal. There's 2 burgers in there, there's fries, and there's a drink with it. Or you can have a pack of cigarettes, or you can have a full bottle of rum. As soon as he sees it, he starts grabbing, give me that, give me that, give me that. But then the conversation that they started having is that, you know, why are you on the street and why don't you want the meal? He's like, you know, I used to have all of these types of things, but alcohol is the problem, that the reason why I'm on the street again. I mean, obviously this may not be the case, I'm not generalizing here. This is just specifically for the few people that he interviewed, or he did the experiment with. They said, I can't live without the alcohol. Gurbani bhi ek India, just like the drunkard can't live without the alcohol. Right? And then the Maharaj flipped the analogy, and just like that, the Gurmukh can't live without the Naam. The Gurmukh can't live without the Guru Sahib, the Sangat, and all of these qualities. ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, he's like, you know what, he starts saying that I know you're right, I know I'm wrong here, but I can't help my mind. I can't help it. I know you're right. And in the video, if you watch, it's quite sad. It's like, I know you're right, brother, I know you're right, I know you're right, man, but I just can't do it. Right? Because his mind has put him in such a stuck little box, right? Where you can't live with that. He sees it, he's like, you know, I don't want any of that. Chalo, he gives him all 3. Muslim, he's a different friend of mine. Right? I wasn't giving him alcohol. I'll put this on daily Sikh updates. But giving alcohol to him. It's basically affected his body, mind, and his intellect. His way that he made his decisions. He started affecting that based on what he's done. The thoughts, actions. So this is basically when Maharaj says, Apan hathi apna ape hi kaaj sawari hai. Apne aap, apne hi hathan naal tusi apne hi, you dictate your future. But with this, you know, the whole thing about destiny and free will, jay sab kuch hai, had the sab hukam hi hai, because everything is one. Sab akal purkh hi hai. But within this, if you have this thing that's like is because whatever you think, you become that. So I'm going to quickly go through this as well. When this effect starts affecting your antashkaran, meaning your unconscious mind, or it's also when you're looking on the inside. Behekaran is on the outside, which is your gyan and the ray, everything that you see here, this is all behekaran, the trees, everything. On the inside is antashkaran, when you start searching deepwards. Are you guys following me a little bit, huh? When you do rangat of this over and over again and again, it basically starts affecting your past. It's basically your personality, your sabah. Somebody that's unconscious, in their unconscious mind, they deeply ingrained something so deep. For example, like thoughts over got heavy. Eventually, an extreme example, they went and raped somebody, right? They became whatever, once, twice, whatever. That calm became a habit. Started affecting everything deeply, unconsciously. That seed has been planted. It's very difficult. Right? And then the only way to get rid of that mal, right, is through the dirt of our mind, which we call janam ki mal. That can be only cleaned through seva and simran. Right? Seva, Hanji.
I had a question, like, you know how, like, it's like mat as well, right? Like God gives you that, like, sometimes it's like harder for people to stop like alcohol or quit their bad habits, whereas like for some people it's easier. Like, how does that happen? Like, why are some people stronger than others in terms of like?
For example, like somebody to see, and you and Panji are here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You're both in this room together here, but you were born at different times, different places. You were born with different people, right? Your family, your parents were different. Your friends growing up were different. All of these past experiences, your character, everything that's been shaped around you, the way that your mind has been built right now, it's different than hers. What is the difference between you and her is just you're a different body, you're a different body, you're a different life experience, you're a different life experience that however old we may be, we're 20 years old, and we're all like, you know, that's what makes us, even though we may be sitting here in the room, but our psyches are different. So that's what it means. It's because for somebody, their experience, the way that they've been thinking, their thoughts, their action might be completely different. That's in the same way two guys get together and whatever, like you do a push-up competition. One guy can do more than the other. Why? Because of the abhyas. Does that make sense? A little bit? We go to Maharaj, you give me the true mat, and connect me to Gurmat. That's why in Gurbani they say, Man ki mat tyago harjan. They're speaking to the Hari de Jan. These people are already on the path. Man ki mat tyago harjan iha baat pitani. This is the most difficult thing to do in this life, right? Is man ki mat tyago harjan iha baat pitani. What do you need to do? Ki an din har har naam tyavo gur satgur ki mat lani. So you let go of the man mat and you take on the Gurmat. I mean, we heard that all the time. Ki man mat Gurmat. I mean, you hear that more on a political basis nowadays. But वही गल हो रही है गुरु दी मत लानी. But how? And then har naam te वो उदा नहीं मिलते, right? Without that, so you need to actually do the work in order to get that. So when just moving on from this, when it's deeply unconscious here, you become the embodiment of that. When somebody, fellow, they're saying that when unconsciously he doesn't realize what he's doing. क्योंकि चलो संगत नहीं हुई, nobody's ever told him. Or unconsciously he's thinking मेरे अंदर बड़ी दया है, I'm so loving, I have so much praying. His actions speak otherwise, right? जाके किसी दे rape करता, किसी दा होर करता वगैरह. People call him a kami, people call him a krudi, people call him he has no daya. But he's thinking कि मेरी बड़ी दया, I feed my dog food every day, I love my dog, right? I pet my dog, I bathe my dog. You need daya. Look, who shows that much compassion to their dog? He is thinking of what his definition of himself is different than what he is unconsciously, because consciously he thinks what he is, right? I think I'm the best, I'm this strong, I've become the prime minister, and you have your own image of yourself, but somebody else has a different image of you. So you become that shakhsiyat, the embodiment. So you think, so basically what I'm trying to say is what you become is what you think. You are what you think. So your mind thinks, that's what we want to implement these things. अपने ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਲੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣੇ ਆ, all of these things, reading ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ, ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਗਿਆਨ ਲੈ ਕੇ, spending time with ਸੰਗਤ, spending time with ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖ, ਸਾਧੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਕਰਕੇ, all of this, doing this time, you get this thing from them. That's why Maharaj, when they say that when you do sangat with somebody, you become just like them. ਸਾਧੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, you become just like them. I've seen that with many Mahapurukhs. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੜਵਈ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੁੰਦੇ, they talk like the Mahapurukhs, they walk like the Mahapurukhs, they eat like the Mahapurukhs, the look in their eyes is the exact same. It's like you meet them and then you meet the Mahapurukhs. I was like, yo, they're the exact same. Like when I speak to the Gadwai Singh is a person who's always with the Mahapurukhs, like their personal sevadar. And when I look at him, I'm speaking to him, it's like you're exactly, there's absolutely no difference. Right? Because they spent so much time with Rangat Chadgi. And when you do sadhu on the sangat, basically you can become that roop. When वो कालपुरख दे रूप बन गए, उन्होंने कालपुरख दी साधु on the sangat पूर्ण ब्रह्म ज्ञानी दी संगत की थी, so they become that roop. So if you do that sangat, if you go and associate with those sadhus, you can become that. That's why Maharaj says, and that's why letting go of your own mind first, so you can implement all of this. So in Gurbani, Shabad aunda ke homme nave naal virodh hai, doe na vase ekathai. The homme and Nam, they can never be their opposite polarities. They can never be together. So in this room, if you want to fill this room up with a whole bunch of things, and then somebody walks in, they're like, okay, we got all this stuff that we got to put somewhere. Somebody says, oh, go put it in the room over there. And when you try stuffing it in, it won't fit. It's already full. So what you have to do is simply take out the stuff inside, and then you can replace it with that. So they say, those two things, they can never be in one place together, meaning your mind. You can't have Naam. Naam is a kalpur. But वो चीज़ दी गल करते हैं, नाम अंदर बसाना है वो चीज़. So implementing these things inside your mind, when you have this home, you can't. There's only one or the other, because the exact opposite. So you can have light or you can have darkness. But it has sab wahi hai. Even the agyan, वो है का चलो माया दे रूप है, पर माया भी kalpur के रूप ही है. So speaking about this, when somebody is thinking calm, they become the embodiment of a kami. Somebody is thinking humility, they become up. Well, that person is very humble. It wasn't over time. They didn't just think, all right, humility. It's not like that. Or somebody just thinks, okay, I want to take on Sikhi. Just because you think you become a Sikh. Mara describes what a true Sikh means student. Maharaj in Gurbani, they describe what a true Sikh is like. They say, Murda hoye murid na galli hovna, savak shide sahid param pauk hovna. Murda is a dead body, of a human dead body. Murda hoye murid, that only somebody can become a true student, a disciple, when they've completely died. That's why we are upon sab shabd padne jo to prem kilan ka jao sar tal tali gale mein mariya. When you're walking on this path, torde, you actually, if you want to start even walking this path, you have to die beforehand. Pehla maran kabul jeevan ki shata. So this concept of death is not something that's a scary subject. Maharaj thinks of it as a celebratory time. Ye badi khushi di gal is to actually one of the most happiest of times, right? When you're on man mata, when somebody actually accepts this and this rasta. So even sadhu on the sangat, sadhus, they do it, they first test you. Yeah, to everybody's face. I've done sangat. To everybody, they'll be like, sangat will be like, hanji, what? And they'll speak with them. They'll do their parchar, sab kuch gala karenge. They'll have questions. This Mahaprabhu will answer those questions, and then they'll speak to everybody. But then jade Singh hunde, right? They'll go to them and they're like, or they'll say things when they're in the room, they're completely different, right? With them, because unanu pata hunda what this person needs. Somebody is worthy, or they're ready. They're ready to take on this thing, so they're trying to kill their home in certain ways, right? So many Mahapurush Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj ne, when they went to Bhai Lerna Ji, we were discussing this before, So with Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they started throwing things that you've all heard the Sakhi when they tell Bhai Lerna Ji to pick up the chadar and eat whatever's underneath, under the tree, when it looked like there was a chadar and it looked like there was a dead body there. Oh, Samay, Bhai Lerna Ji was there and Guru Nanak Dev Ji started throwing things outside. They started acting angry. Some people thought, like Guru Nanak Dev Ji's true colors, he used to be such a peaceful thing. Again, right? It's like those things. So if a Brahmgyani or a sadhu or a sant, they say something, it's not because they're angry, it's because they know vaste kuch kar diya. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, the Guru da Roop, they're going and they're throwing stuff. They drop some money as well. So people that were into that, they're like, oh, Guru Sahib was so happy with us. They gave us some money that we stayed for an extra 5 seconds. They went home. So everybody went home. Even the history writes that they even beat Bhai Lerna Ji. So when they beat Bhai Lerna Ji and the other people, they started walking toward the jungle. Sare piche chale gaye. Bhai Lerna Ji is the only person that's left there. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji turns to Bhai Lerna Ji. They said, Lerna, tu ithe ka tu khada? Why are you here still? And Baki sab chal gaye. They said, Maharaj, they all left because they had somewhere else to go. They all left because they had a house, they had family, they had somewhere, they had some sort of support. Maharaj, I have nobody. If I get beat here, I get hurt anywhere, I'm always going to come back to you. Wafadar, right? Meaning always, no matter je gur chadke ta mitha lag gaya, je bakshe ta gur badi aayi, Guru di badi aayi. Anything that jehde Mahapurush sadhu jan jo bhi kar diya is to break your ego, Even like chalo there was a Gursikh main the na piche baitha siga, and there's one amazing Gursikh Abanali lende, but amazing Gursikh chalo Mahapurush ka wag gayi, and there somebody else, they were playing tabla, and it was a packed kirtan darbar. The Singh was there too. I've seen it with my own eyes many different ways that Gursikhs will break the ego in a way that person cannot get out of it. There's no way that person can rebel against it now. It's just such a thing that like he can't, his ego is gone completely after that. So here, Kirtan Shuru Karna ki, they go to him and they say, Ek Tal. Say, play Ek Tal. Jo unhone Kirtan Shuru kita, it wasn't Ek Tal. They said it was a different beat. Teen Tal de vich siga. It was a different beat. And then he turns around when he starts to sing it, so this isn't Ek Tal. Right, but he's like, he tries, he hits it and stuff, and he's like, he turns around again, he goes like, okay, the Ek Tal, play her Ek Tal, hurry up, and Sari Sangal Dekh, what is he doing? Tabla, he hasn't started, that moment when the tabla guy messes up, and he's like, oh, it's all your fault, right in the Kirtan, he's like, oh, you messed up, you're gonna get kicked out. So he's sitting there, and he's like, oh man, what should I do now? And then, he's like, I'll find the beat, he starts Ek Tal, right? Oh, we joined up, yeah, and now it was off beat because that was a different beat. He was doing a different beat. And then he turns around again. He's like, Ek Tal. He's like, I am playing Ek Tal. It's like, what is that? And then he realizes what he was doing to him. Then he starts playing the proper beat. He started playing Teen Tal after that. When he started playing that, now even though he's back on beat, he still can't get rid of that moment. He can't get rid of that embarrassment. कि मैं अपने आप को बड़ा बड़ा तबला player समझता सीगा, I can never go wrong type of thing. That Gursikh broke his ego right on the spot. Even before the Kirtan even started. Even before it started, even like tiny things, sadhu jan, they will do that to you, you know? In many different ways. They, it's about getting that mind, giving your mind to the sadhu as well, completely, you know? If you actually want to learn something, Maharaj says, become like a dead body. Murda hoi murid, na galli hovna, savish de sahid param pauk hovna. That's when all your doubts, nevi paramya, wo sab chale jange. When you actually let go of your mind. Chalo apna man di gal karne hai. If you become the embodiment of kalo humility, ya nimarta, mitha bolna, speaking sweet, of love, ya koi kami, krodhi, lobhi, ankari, whatever it is, you become the embodiment of that. Or now your next action, whatever you do, is reflected in your speech, looks, thinking, action, gesture. It's going to be reflected in that. And then basically you are dictating your next action. So based on whatever you are. So that Sharabi, the beta, he can't live without it. Oh, cheez tum bina reh hi nahi sakda. So that therefore his next action is going to be taking the Sharabi bottle. Right? Or the Gursikh, he's become the embodiment. Oh, Harida Rupi ban gaya. They become the form of God. And now what is their next action is going to be based on that as well. Harida Rupi ban gaya. So, and this is Chalo Achar character. We speak about these things. But I want to ask a question. All of this entire thing, jitna bhi hega, sochna pa karna, we become something, man chit buddh ankar, jitna bhi sab kuch hega, a suksham part of our mind and all this kind of, it's all inside of something. Can we take a guess what that is? Right? Yeah, so all, like for example, all jitna bhi hega, like all of that, our mind, thoughts, actions, jo aapa karte hain vagera, all this type of thing. Go into a sadhu, aapa vagera karna. What is that all inside of? Yes. Well, yes. We gotta learn the Jeopardy tune so I can like sing it at these type of times. It's all inside of this thing called Kal, meaning time. So first you think something, then you do something. That's why we refer to ourselves Kal Rupi Jeev, right? Or we are bound by time, right? And that's why we come, we are born, then we die, we go, right? That's what we think of ourselves. Just like, so many other guys, forget, you think you're your body, forget that. Okay, this body, anything that is born, anything that dies, right, is not true, because it comes and it goes. Everything you see in this world comes and it goes. So all the question is now, it's all inside of time, but we refer to Akal because Akal, timeless, beyond time. Referring to as beyond death as well. That he doesn't die and he doesn't get born. Oh hai. Right? He's that being that's beyond time. And now, we are Akal Purkh. What's the difference between this, all of this that we're doing, thinking, we get all these actions, and that thing, that which is beyond Akal Purkh? Chalo wo hai sab, that is hukum. Because reality, everything is inside of hukum. But on this practical level, you have to do the actions as well. So it's not a question of is there free will or is this destiny. It's a reality and which perspective you're thinking of it as. Because really, it's both. So I'll put up the next thing as well. You've seen this before. Main reason why we can't see the is this glass ego in between. Andar bhi pani hai glass te bahar bhi pani hai. They're made up the same molecules, everything, but it's this little wall that you can't see. And I'm just gonna pull up to a different presentation. I've done this. Obviously, this is like I've done this in different orders and stuff, but just so that's why I'm just gonna pull this up here. So there's something that we call the Atma, which is the self, and Sukha Singh and myself, like Sukha Singh has learned this from Mahapurukhs and stuff like that. I was just discussing a few of these things with him this morning as well. The Antishkan, all this kind of stuff. And the more you go to sadhus, the more you go to these Harkijan, they'll tell you everything. Because they walk this path. I haven't walked this path. I'm nobody. The Parama Atma referred to as the soul. But in general, like I told you, we're waiting for darshan of God, but we think of the soul to be something else completely. We think of a soul being, when you die, you're standing there, you're looking at your body, and you're like this powdered version of yourself that looks exactly like you, right? It's like a ghost of you that looks exactly like you. It's wearing the exact same chunni that you're wearing as well, right? But exactly like you. But that's not what the Atma is. Atma is Paramatma. But there are layers that are getting to that. So the first thing is something called the Karan Sarir. Have you heard these words before? So there's something called Karan Sarir, which basically is avidya. Avidya is Karan Sarir, basically meaning the ignorance. The ignorance in which your home man, your eye, right? The wall of falsehood where Maharaj Guru Pani they say, Kiv kuda tutta pal. How do you break that wall of falsehood and become Satyara? Kiv Satyara hui hai. Kiv kuda tutta pal. How do you get to that? When you understand what this hukum rajai chalana, nanak likhan, when you understand what the hukum is, hukum Maharaj de raza vich chalana. Chalo, that's a different subject. But it's the wall of falsehood, this suksham, this very, very small, difficult layer, which is very difficult to get to. Around that is something called suksham sarir. This is something that we refer to as the invisible body. So something that I can't touch. I can touch your keski, I can touch your glasses, I can touch the table, I can touch your arm maybe. I know, but I can't touch your mind. I can't touch your thoughts. There are certain things that I can't touch at all. So this is something that we refer to man chit bodh ahankar. So man chit bodh ahankar. This is not the ahankar which is like I'm better than you. This is the ahankar. Anything that or man does, first it goes to man when chitti, when it goes into your chetan, and then you make a buddhi, you make a decision based on that. That decision which you make is your ahankar. So it's made inside of your ahankar. Only because of your ahankar you make that action. So it's like this thing is there, I'm picking this up. Main chak raha hai, but suksham roop de vich is still inside of your inside of your ahankar. So that's sankhep roop vich, obviously with each of these chet bodh ahankar jinna marji vichar kari jao, that's just the journey itself. But sometimes just understanding a very summarized version of it helps us, because if we're trying to reach this goal of what we call spiritual enlightenment, we want to become a sadhu as well, you want to meet God, you want to attain God, become God, then sometimes just having a summarized version of it, understanding Sikhi is not just something. The whole point of this presentation, I go around talking about this, is because Sikhi is not a 2-hour thing that you do on a Sunday morning, basically. Obviously at this camp I don't have to say that, you put me sitting in here in front of you. Around the Suksham Sri, there's something called Satul Sri. So Satul, this is the visible body. So your arm, this includes your, basically, and then outside of that there's the outer physical world, which is interacting with this Sthul Sarir, which is, because with this Satul Sarir, you are connecting to your Suksham Sarir. The way that you connect from your Suksham, your Satul to Suksham, is through your Gyanandri, which I mentioned before, right? And also we mentioned no Dware Paragar Ki Maharaj says, but to connect to that inner one, you have to close off all 9, then you connect to that 10th one. Right? That is also when you close off all 9, then you go into your Antishkar, Andar Jana. Right? Because then it's deeper than that. It's deeper than your mind as well. It's much deeper than your mind. So Suksham Siri Devachan, your man sab kuch aa janda. And then basically here this Agyan, or avidya should be the right word there, right? Avidya. Man, it's your mal, dirt, whatever you say, seva dinal dur honiya, vikalpya, restlessness, the thing that doesn't let you, your taka nahi den dinda. The distractions, usimran dinal ya sadhana dinal hona hai. And then the avaran, which basically means your mind is also perishable, right? It's not forever. When we discuss more into that, this is basically all part of your antahkaran as well. So your man is part of your antahkaran, because all of this is in antahkaran, inside. It's not bahkaran, meaning outside. then basically the way your Suksham Sarir, your Man, there, your Suksham Man, the way it interacts with the world is Gyan Indriya. So eyes, nose, ears, touch, I already mentioned that before. And even with all of this, if you want to reach the Atma, we think we are the Suksham Sarir. That's what we make decisions with. But ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਕਾਰਨ ਸਰੀਰ ਤੋਂ ਦੂਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਨਾ, you don't want to get to the ਕਾਰਨ ਸਰੀਰ is the vidya. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਤਮਾ, when you realize that atma, when you recognize that atma ਕਿ ਮਨ ਤੋਂ ਜੋਤ ਸਰੂਪ ਹੈ, right? Jyot just doesn't just mean like, you know, so many of you saying Jyot doesn't just mean ਕਿ ਚਲੋ ਅੰਦਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਬੈਠਾ ਹੈ, ਅੰਦਰ ਇਹ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ. ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ ਚਲੋ ਇਹਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ. So if I basically ask all of you here to look at your hand, ਆਪਣੇ ਹੱਥ ਵੱਲ ਦੇਖੋ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਹੈ, ਹੁਣ look at your hand, look at the front, look at the cracks, look at your nails, look at everything. And if the question here is who's looking at this hand, ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਹੱਥ ਵੱਲ ਕੌਣ ਦੇਖ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ? ਹਾਂਜੀ sorry, our eyes, ਅੱਖਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨਾ, ਜਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਕਹੂਗਾ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਰੱਬ ਬੈਠਾ ਦੇਖ ਰਿਹਾ ਜਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਆ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਦੇਖ ਰਿਹਾ, ਸਭ ਕੁਛ. Whatever, till if you're into scientific stuff, whatever the wavelength, the brown wavelength goes to your eyes, cornea flips the image, goes into your pituitary. You can go a scientific way as well, and not logical. That's only as far as your buddhi goes. And logic doesn't go. Kalpurk is way beyond, right? Oh, like he's beyond logic as well. He's logical, but he's beyond logic as well. On looking at the sand, on you know that ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੂਖਸ਼ਮ ਸਰੀਰ, ਸਥੂਲ ਸਰੀਰ, ਸੂਖਸ਼ਮ ਸਰੀਰ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ, ਇਹ ਸਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਇਹ ਵਰਨ ਹੈ. Like meaning it's going to perish anyway. So meaning it was born, it's gonna die as well. So Mara Gurbani de Supaniyon Sara Panju Sare Bani Parnale again. You all reading Gurbani that this world is just a dream. This world is just an illusion. I'm talking about the illusion of Maya. So the illusion of Maya, you're looking at your hand and you know you're looking at this hand. But Mara is saying that okay, if you want to go inside, you close off all 9 dware, meaning you can't look at your hand. So really, if there's basically jo sab bharya, everything you see in illusion, you're looking at this hand. The question is, who's looking at this hand? The answer to that is nobody's looking at the hand. कि असल दे जहाँ महाराज कहते सहस्ता बने नन है तो एको. So Akal Purakh has all eyes, thousands and thousands of eyes, but ek kabhi akh nahi. Then they say in the same line, they say he has 1,000 eyes, then they say he doesn't even have a single eye. The job side is like that as well. Jab se roop na dekh na rang ke ant na paravar, he has no form, he has nothing. But wo sab wo cheez to pare hai. So ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੱਥ ਵੱਲ ਦੇਖਦੇ, basically this hand isn't here. Who's looking at this hand? It's I'm looking at this hand. मैं देख रहा हूँ. But the action that we're doing, we're feeding that knowledge to our mind. मानवी it's रहने वाला नहीं हैगा. So that's only we're getting basically Satul Srir is basically out here. Suksham Srir is we're sending, oh I'm looking at this mind. मेरा मन, we're making a decision. When you want to get deeper into that, basically this ये भी नहीं हैगा ये सब हम में करके ही है. When you get rid of that, then to see basically the answer is कि नाम बिना सब कूड़ गाली होती है कि सिमरत बेद पुराण पुकारण पोथियां नाम बिना सब कूड़ गाली होती है. Anything that you physically see, everything is a God work. पर असल जो थानू दींदा वो है नहीं, है ना? Everything that you see, it isn't, but it is. So everything is true, but everything is false. And so now everything is now, but what you associate with it isn't actually what it is. So, but that realization, this is the path, this is the thing that you're trying to attain through this. But realizing it without a sadhu is very, very difficult. Sadhu to bring, so getting somebody to actually explain to you what Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj is actually saying when they say all of these things. We were just discussing the other day, somebody takes the line Gur Jaisa, because they're like, we don't believe in Dev, then we get us up, and we say Gur Jaisa nahi ko Dev. The Guru to there's no angel, Devta, as high as the Guru. Gur Jaisa nahi ko Dev. They're saying no, Dev actually means Deen wala. So they just completely changed the meaning of the Shabad, based on what they believe, right? Because so sometimes you can say it's my belief for what the Shabad is saying, but you're reading that Shabad inside of your own ignorance. So your mind is learning it. The only way you can get rid of your own mind or your mat is when you give it to somebody. That's what they say. Homme dhira garog hai daru pi ismail. Homme is the most like the rog, the highest, the most chronic of all diseases, right? And it is the root cause of all the other diseases. But the cure for this disease is inside of it. So you have to recognize your homeland, and when you take it, you give it to somebody. Because you can't do it yourself. Somebody else has to. So you can't say, oh, I'm going to scratch my back. No, you have to give it back to somebody, and they do it. Even though the cure for it is actually on your back, you just have to scratch your back. Because you have to take that and you have to give it to somebody else. On sadhu and the sangat, there's many different ways. Chalo with Bhagat Ji, even myself, like when chalo I've seen some people I highly respect Bhagat Ji in many different ways, you know. Chalo Maharaj di kirpa, Mahampurukhan di kirpa. I've had the chance to spend time with Mahampurukh as well. My father even, he did with Sant Jarnail Singh during the times in 1984, and after that Sant Jarnail Singh sent him out beforehand and sent him to his village where Baba Daya Singh was. You know, so he spent time with them there. So during the attacks, then he came out to Canada afterwards. But when we first met Bhagat Ji, they were both associated with Texal, so my dad knew Bhagat Ji. So here in Toronto, when I was sitting there, the story goes like Bhagat Ji is doing his thing, you know, Gurbani Suno, okay, bad food, nahi khana, sab kuch, right? Even at that age, they're saying that, and then they basically made my Bhagat Ji was quite old. My dad was about 40 at that time, and then he basically makes my dad do like sit-ups, right, exercises, you know, do his exercises and all that kind of stuff. Just make him do all the stretches. We're all sitting there on the ground. Karde, basically, I'm sitting there and they're discussing. I fell asleep, and I fell asleep on my mom's lap. He said, okay, and that's even now they remember me because of that. And they're like, even now I met them at the start of this camp, like Babaji, I met them, and they're like, acha. They're like, tu aa gaya, like, bole, sorry, chalo idhar wagera. They make you happy, you know, khushi bhi, sab kuch, pyar bhi dinde, sab kuch dinde, but sote bhi maar de, you know. And in ways like they instill something so deep inside of you that basically it doesn't go away. And that thing is something that you can hold on to. It's not something that push you as somebody. If you go into a sadhu di sangat, very difficult to break off of it. You see Rabb with sign because they actually grab you and they show you Rabb. Is sitting there with like 7 years old. What does a 7-year-old person know? And मैं उठे चलो सो गया. Even now they remember. अच्छा तेनू चेता है तू माँ दी गोदी च सुता सीगा. I was like अच्छा नहीं. I was like हाँ जी हमारा चेता है. Then वो कहते हुण तो नहीं सोता ओदी गोदी च. मैं कहते I wish. I wish. And I'm gonna take I don't get a chance to go back to Calgary. You know. They kicked me. मैं मैंने घरों बाहर कढ़िया हुआ. That's why I go around to these camps. So उठे even I was sleeping there. They would tell chalo they oh jiniyan gallan siyan house all this वगैरह सब मेरे सुते पे this is the vibration very strong. Chalo for some reason they left me in the middle of the living room. They all went to sleep afterwards. For some reason they like probably thought chalo I know te pe rendo, and I just fell asleep on the floor of the living room. I think they left. It was in Cambridge, I believe. You know? They left the door open slightly, and there was an anthill outside or something like that. So all these they all came in, huh? But Bhagat Ji around the house they had their Bani playing, their Kirtan playing, and then they had all this other kind of stuff. Sadhu they had all this stuff playing. And the first time I was like, I didn't really care about anything, but like the skira comes up, and I was just listening to that Gurbani. And the Bhagat Ji ne kiya si ke Gurbani samjho. The first thing you wake up is listening to Gurbani. When you go to sleep, listening to Gurbani. Gurbani to bina kuch hai hi nahi. So I'm just sitting there, I didn't really think much of it. But koi aam banda kare na, it's difficult. So when they start speaking, the Gurbani one of the Audi, they're reading Gurbani, Kirtan bhi chalda. There's ants crawling all over me, which I can't really see. And it's like, this must be normal. You know? It's like it feels just like it sounds weird, you know? But it's like if somebody did that outside of the sadhu and they sang Mehma Sadhu Sari Unadi. Or somebody did that outside, like, oh, but for some reason, ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਸੀ, that vibration ਸਾਧੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੂਰ ਕਰਤੀ, ਭੈ ਦੂਰ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ, right? They got rid of that fear, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ you begin to see outside, ਚਲੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਰਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਡਰਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, so like, oh, ਕੀੜਾ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਦੀਦੀ, ਉਹ spider ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਨਾ, ਵੱਡੇ ਨਿਹੰਗ ਸਿੰਘ, oh, they get up on the table, spider, ਮੰਮੀ ਆ ਗਿਆ, but वो चीज़ उन्होंने चलो for that time being दूर कर दी. And then there was other like when I began spending time with them. After that like little thing as a kid, I was just like, you know, I want to meet job again. I want to go meet as such a Gursik again. Job again. Then I started spending time with them when they traveled a little bit. I heard that they're coming around again. So there was me and another Gursik. I mean, there's badiyan stories with different Mampurs. Just because you guys have met Bhagat Ji here, that's why I'm sharing this. I was there with another Singh. The Antarjot Singh other naam siga. Probably know him, but I think he's from Toronto here as well. They also khade sige and many I mean I know you've heard these sakhiyan with like some Baba Thakur Singh, and I know Singhs that have lived with them as well, ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੰਨੇ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹੋ, they write it on the board, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਲਿਖਣਾ ਕਿ ਕਬੀਰ ਸੁੱਤਾ ਕਿਆ ਕਰੇ ਜਾਗ ਰੋਏ ਪੈ ਦੁੱਖ ਜਾ ਕਾ ਬਾਸਾ ਗੂਰ ਮੈਂ ਸੋ ਕਿਉਂ ਹੋਵੇ ਸੁਖ. ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ I can never forget that puniti, right? Because they just made me ਗਲੀ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਅੰਦਰ ਬਾਣੀ ਜਾਵੇ ਵਗੈਰਾ. ਚਲੋ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ 7 ਵਜੇ and ਮੈਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਰਹੇ and they're like go and do hip exercise, so like twist your hips around. And I was like, okay. Like, so just start twisting, standing there, me and the singer standing over, twisting our hips around, doing the hip stretches. And Bhagat Ji uthe thalle lamme pੈ ਗਏ. They go to sleep there, put their chadar over the face and whatever they're laying there, like jad main uthda nahi ha ਉਹਨਾਂ ਚਿਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਾਣੀ ਹੈ. Bhagat Ji doesn't sleep that much, But that day, for some reason, like he just slept and slept and slept. Just laying there, I was like, we're like, Kabir. So we had this tune with Kabir, Sutta kya kare, jagaroe ka dukh, jaka basa gur moe, so kya sove sukh, Kabir, Sutta kya. So we had this tune, we're just going, and we're going, like we're doing it in the whatever, and then like Bhagat Ji goes, har nacho har nacho, you know, they didn't say that before. They're going nacho, and we're like, nacho, okay. And chalo we're singing the Shabad asi, chalo ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਨੰਦ ਥੋੜਾ ਆਉਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਿਆ. Some reason that day they just like they were there for like 12 hours, 13 hours. बड़ा चल, and our lips were dry वगैरह. Chalo we see a little laga matra, they're like sleeping there, We see a little laga matra wrong, like kabir sutte kya kare or kare. We say it wrong a little bit. They're in the like sutta main to say something or whatever in the middle of that thing, and basically they're testing us. We are sab kuch kar diya sadhu, basically saying that our mind is asleep, teaching us about our mind is jagrat hai. You're not awake, you're not aware of Gurbani, your mind is somewhere else. You ithe ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ 10 ਘੰਟੇ ਹੋਵੇ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਮਨ ਹਲੇ ਤੱਕ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ, right? So with sadhu and these things is very difficult, but praying ਵੀ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ. It's very very different with the sadhu. Without a sadhu, the sangat is very difficult. Even do you guys know who Bhai Jeevan Singh is? Akhand Kirtani jatha, Sunya hoga ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ passed away last year, ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ I remember when I was very very young, ਬਹੁਤ ਛੋਟਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ in Calgary, ਉੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਬੈਠਾ ਸੀਗਾ, and there was you probably heard of Bhai Chatra Singh, Ragi, like ਬੜੇ ਉੱਚੇ ਰਾਗੀ ਸਿੰਗਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ. And they're like, even now if you can listen to Kirtan, like Puratan Kirtan, it's unbelievable. Chalo, they're both at the Gurdwara, and there's like this, like a upstairs, right? And there's like an empty hall there. Ote, there's both of them sitting there talking to each other, and they're talking to each other in such nimrata. Me sitting there with just those two, and I was just like I was just like, my bacha, yeah, what's up, man? And these two things, they were sitting there, and then like ਭਾਈ ਜੀਵਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਬੜਾ ਉੱਚਾ ਤੇ ਸੁੱਚਾ ਆ, ਤੇ ਭਾਈ ਚਤਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਤਾਂ ਪੈਸਿਆਂ ਵਾਲਾ ਆ, right? Like my kirtan is only for money. I go around, I do kirtan, they give me money, that's what. But your kirtan is the true kirtan. Chalo ਇੰਨੀ ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰਦੇ they start crying with each other, ਉੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਜੱਫੀਆਂ ਬੋਲਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ, everything like that. I'm sitting there and ਚਲੋ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਆਪਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰਦੇ, but that image was just left with me. Even though I was there for what, a minute or 2 minutes or whatever, didn't know hega, but like certain moments with that vibration, which each portal didn't hegi. And Jinna Prem Bhai Jeevan Singh they would have, and we would go to this house, and they would come up to somebody and they would shake hands. They would like, Baba Ji, Baba Ji, Khalsa, Baba Ji, Fateh. They would grab their hand and they would speak to them. They used to wear a few kade, thodi kade. They'd take one of their kade and while shaking their hand, they'd slide it onto his hand. They're like, ek benti hai meri, ek kada nahi na on, like don't take off this kada. But the way they would say it in such a way, ghar bhi todde hai, kottde bhi hai, sab kuch karde hai, prem bhi inna they would put on that kada. And that person jadon gaye, like if you meet that guy now, he's Sabat Surat, he's like Kesatari Amritari Singh today, that he took Amrit about like 3 months later. a person that never wore a karda, never knew jada, he didn't care about Sikhi vagera. In his sadhuan di sangat vich inna phal prapt hunda. But that's why you want to, sadhu di sangat gyan lena, gyan bhi hai bro, jada the essence of it, which it's hard to describe it, right? I mean, I can share a story about it, but baba aniya kahaniyan, pote se pote kareni, we can speak. I'm speaking about their kahaniyan because their thing is beyond, right? Katha. So if you guys do you have any questions about these types of things, that you can share any stories you guys jitna bhi hega. Lifespan Dil Maharaj di kirpa nal, I never used to think that I'd ever meet a sadhu or vagera. Even now ardas kari jande ke, keep on letting me meet, spend time with these Gursikh sadhu andaran bilap hove. We say that in ardas every single time. Te wo sharda ho gayi hai na. And it was a funny story. This upon jande main kithe siga, I was in Calgary, hai na. There's a few people in main chalo Mahampurkh da naam nahi lenda, but there's a few people who were very against this Mahampurkh, very against it, right? Including a few people who were like relatives of mine. So they're really against this Mahampurkh. So they'd have these like Pakhand CDs made or whatever, all this kind of, they would just give it to people, that type of thing. And like they showed me this picture, this video or whatever, and till I'm watching it, I'm a little kid, I'm like, to me, I'm just like in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, no, it doesn't seem right, okay, it's probably a different thing, we're just taking it, we're just turning it into something, they didn't listen to me, whatever. And I'm like, they're not going to listen to a 9-year-old. As I grew up, that same video like was in my mind, right? And I was like, you know what? I want to meet that sadhu. Because my dad, Mara, they loved spending time with Gursikhs and everybody as well. Now their name became a little bit prachalat.
Are you talking about by Janelle Singh Kadriya?
Ranjit Singh Kadriya.
Sorry, Ranjit Singh Kadriya, yeah.
So ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੀਗੀ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ मैं सोच रहा कि वगैरह I want to meet them, सब कुछ करते हैं, listen to their things and सब कुछ करते हैं, but I wanted to actually see them. People told me about them, and I really high TV I was like, oh really, like wow, that's so cute. ते गल्लां विचारां करते हैं मैं क्या I want to meet them, but like वो कदे they never came here वगैरह कुछ भी नहीं, मैं साधु दी संगत करनी सीगी at that चाह है ना. पर वो एक गल है चलो, if you ask for a sadhu di sangat, the point I'm trying to get to is, if you have that job, sadhu will grab you and they'll pull you there, no? For sure they'll pull you there. So the story goes, I'm going to cut it short. And then one time chalo California on the basic, and I'm sitting there, I was like, oh man, I can't go, I can't pay for a ticket, I got no money, nothing. They also made, they're like, there's a few things of like, oh, we're gonna go down to California. I was like, what? Right? I was like, I'm coming with you guys, right? And then chalo, we made the plans, we gotta like skip school over here. Like, mommy, shooting. I was like, yeah, it's a PD day. You guys have PD days here, right? And basically the night of, the one Singh asked me, because we were gonna take 2 cars. Singh calls me and he's like, maybe you can leave it this time, because we're gonna have to take 2 cars, it's gonna be double the gas or whatever. It's a 23-hour drive all the way from Calgary to down there. They go need to see Rando, you guys don't need the whatever, we'll go next time and stuff. It's just, and I'm like, normally मैं जद नहीं करता हूँ ना, मैं normally जद नहीं करता, पर पाजी I really want to go, he's like, oh, I'll get a rental. They're like, oh, my car is not that strong, whatever. I'll pay for a rental. And he's like, you're gonna pay for a rental with money, we'll sort it out. And he's like, how much is it gonna cost? They said this amount for 500. I'll figure it out, whatever. And I really want to chalo. He's like, we ended up so it was like a family in that car, and there was just 2 of us in this one car, this one SUV, and we started driving down. As we were driving, we kept switching. I was young. I was about 16 at the time, I could 15, 16, right? Yeah, so I was driving. When we got to California, after the long drive, right before we turned to the place where we're gonna get to, we got rear-ended by a semi-truck, and this guy's truck, he's like, say it's whatever, he wakes up, whatever. He's like, no, Singh was from Toronto here. So that's right. But here, he's like, crazy, like, oh, my truck or whatever didn't have you, but whatever. Well, after the accident, sab kuch hoya, then he had to go to the hospital, right? I was fine. I was like, oh, sorry, man. But it wasn't my fault, right? He got a new truck out of it, right? He got his favorite. But then out of that, like, after 2-3 days, whatever, after like whatever, even my like parents, even my rishtedars are really, really against it. And stuff like that. Huge fit at my house halfway into subway. I told them, no, I'm going for something else. I went down there and all the kind of stuff ਜਦੋਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਆਊਟਸਾਈਡ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ ਦਾ ਮੂਮੈਂਟ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਧੂ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਸੀਗੀ ਆਰ ਫਿਊ ਥਿੰਗਸ ਇਨ ਮਾਈ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਸ ਕੀ ਫਿਊ ਥਿੰਗਸ ਇਨ ਯੂਰ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਜਿਸ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਪੁੱਛੂੰਗਾ ਮਾਂ ਪੁੱਛੂੰਗਾ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਮਿਲਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਵਗੈਰਾ you hear the little door cracks or whatever, you know, the door opens, things go in and out, but you're not allowed in because you're not like the in circle, you know. So all these things that are part of the jatha, they're going in and out. I'm like, yo man, like let me just get a little sneak peek, right? So like there, I'm like, I've never actually physically seen them again, huh? Chalo, the Singh goes and he leaves the door a little bit, this much open. My utte pitaya, and utte that's where they were sitting exactly, right there. So I'm on the corner of them, like I see them just amount that door is open right there. Like I see them, and then they're sitting exactly right there, just enough for me to see their body, and they're putting on their katra and they look at me, you know. They'll tell me, "Khushi nal chad gaya," yeah, you know. Then मैं खुशी नाल चढ़ गया उस तो बाद जिन्ने भी all the doubts questions जिन्ने भी मेरे मन दे विच सीगे है ना for some reason चलो after I got to walk in with them, cutting the story short, when I walked in and when I actually met them and I figured जिन्ने is like mine just goes blank. And I've had my friends have been telling when they meet Malpurks as well that this is a story of my friend from England. In his mind who sochda si ke you know okay I'm going to ask this and this, I'm meeting this Malpurk, it's a different Malpurk है ना ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਜਾਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਈ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ so he sometimes he'd be studying ਜਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਕਰਦਾ university ਪੜ੍ਹਦਾ you forget to do your kirtan sola because you just fall asleep on your table, you know, or if you're watching some TV and you just fall asleep, wake up in the morning, oh I didn't do my kirtan sola, but right and chalo he do that kind of stuff. ਪਰ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦਾ ਸੀ ਗਿਆਨ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ, he used to take some there ਸਭ ਕੁਛ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਦੋਂ he's about to walk into that he's like ਮੈਂ ਆਹ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਗਿਆਨ ਦੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਪੁੱਛਣੇ ਆ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ about you know spirituality and mind and all this cool stuff. He's walking in with the khaunga na man jiddaan mind spiritually I know these words and stuff. He was about to go in and the bibi that's walking out right before she's meeting the Mampur, she's walking and the Mampur calls from the back, he's like bibi chetna kirtan sola padh liya kar, right? And the baby walks out and she's like, she looks around and like, okay, theek hai. She walks in and he's like, oh damn. I was like, oh. And then he walks in, he's like, jitne bhi sige sab bol gaya, he's just like standing there like this. Ki wo cheez ankar hai wo nahi tupdi hai na. Even hor jitne bhi hai ki Mampurk, there's another friend of mine who had a father who jinne sharab peenda hunda hai, sab kuch peenda hunda siga, but when his kid starts drinking, he started going like वगैरह गलत काम हो गया इतना वगैरह हो गया. And when he goes चलो महांपुरखां ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹੁਣ ਕਈ ਚਲੋ ਇਸ ਗਿਆਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਸੁਰਤੀਆਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ I can only speak about how much I know ਹੈ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਸੁਰਤੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ person ਚਲੋ we were speaking to ਕਈ ਸਾਧੂਸ ਉਹ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ the vibration that same tone you can change, you can control the actions ਉਹ ਧਿਆਨ ਸ਼ਕਤੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਭ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਚਲੋ ਉਹ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਦੇ ਰੂਪ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ from my belief ਹੈ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਗਏ ਤੇ ਲਾਈਕ ਇੰਨਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਗਲਤ ਰਸਤੇ ਤੇ ਪੈ ਗਏ ਵਗੈਰਾ and the son was walking and he's like when he's walking and he's like he felt like ਜਿਹੜੇ ਔਗਣ ਆ ਉਹ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖ ਸ਼ੀਸ਼ੇ ਵਰਗੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਇੰਨੇ ਔਗਣ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਉਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਏ. He's like, you know, my drinking or chalo, I did this with this girl, I did this with my friend. They just started coming in front as they're walking down the hallway towards where the Mahaprabhu's room was. And ਜਦੋਂ ਚਲੋ ਅੰਦਰ ਗਏ ਤਾਂ ਬਟਾ ਰੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਇੰਨਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ. The Mahaprabhu just sitting there just like as like a child, like he's like I don't care why you here man, that type of thing. Chalo bete, he's like yeah. The first thing he says is well, how can we expect our kids to do what we don't, right? And so basically he's like he never, because he was speaking like but he didn't mention that I drink as well. Right, neither did the other few people that he brought, his like cousins and stuff that he brought with him to get his son like you know yelled at, right? basically right after that he's like he was against Mahampurks, everything, complete against, right? He's like but even to connect you to the Shabad Guru, you need to go through the first 2 steps of Bhagati to get to Shabad Dwara Bhagati ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਨਾ. So if you want, you have to go through Sri Di Bhagati. ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਿਰ ਚੁੱਕ ਕੇ after that. The basic first type of Bhagati is Sri Di Bhagati. I didn't put it up on the thing, right? It's because this is like a whole bunch of different presentations and I'm just combining the topics together because it's informal, right? The first type of Bhagati is Sri Di Bhagati. So जो सेवा करते हैं अपने हत्थां नाल उस वेले like ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਮੈਲ you're bringing that nimrata from the world is ਇਹ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰੱਬ ਪਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ. Within this world you're doing everything but you're doing it with that intention. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੇਖਣੀਆਂ you're going to see God ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਹੈਗਾ. ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ with your ਸਰੀਰ with your tongue you're going to recite ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੀ ਬਾ ਲੱਖ ਹੋਏ ਲੱਖ ਹੋਵੇ ਲੱਖ 20 ਲੱਖ ਲੱਗੇਗਾ ਆਰਾਧੀ ਇੱਕ ਨਾਮ ਜਗਦੀਸ਼ with your tongue ਲੱਖ ਜੇਵਾ ਦੇ ਹੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਮੁਖ ਹਰ ਆਰਾਧੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਰਾਮ. Then they say ਕਿ ਲੱਖ ਜੇਵਾ ਦੇ ਹੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ. So with your tongue over and over and over again just ਬਾਣੀ ਵੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਨੀ ਹੈ ਸੇਵਾ ਵੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਇਹ ਸਭ ਪਰ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੀ ਭਗਤੀ ਹੈ. It's grace ਭਗਤੀ but it's with the ਸਰੀਰ. ਹਾਂਜੀ question or they were like whatever like flip your hair back. Then the second Shabad Dwara Bhagati escape route which I said when you're talking all day long so you gotta karde Bani padde you go into this state when you're sleeping you go into this state of just yaap vi raaton raat padde sukhmani sahib da jaap man de vich chalda hai. An analogy I use for that is I share is like when you go to sleep and the last thing you see when you go to sleep is while you're watching TV and you fall asleep. Even though somebody's turned off the TV and your mom has put a blanket on you or something, but you're still thinking, oh, the TV show, whatever is happening in the TV show is still going in your mind, even though it's been 7 hours. How much time do we have left? Space is small in like any second now, huh? Or do we have lots of time? Is that like a good thing or bad thing?
What time did you challenge us first? I don't know.
Chalo, we'll be on time anyway. When you wake up in the morning, that TV show is still going on in your mind, but it's not on anymore. So the last thing that you remembered is the first thing that you remember when you wake up. So those 7 hours, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਪਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖ ਨੇ ਦੱਸੀ. So those 6-7 hours you're doing Simran of that thought. So that's why Maharaj emphasized Kirtan Swila. That's why that Mahampurkh emphasized on that my friend of mine ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਰਾਤ ਨੂੰ ਸੌਣ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ Kirtan Swila Simran ਕਰਦੇ ਸੌਣਾ ਹੈ. First thing you do when you wake up, first thought is Guru Sahib ਦੀ thought. And chalo those 7 hours just again you're holding on to Simran chalo even getting Guru Bachan Singh ji Khalsa Pindran wale ਉਹਦੇ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ whenever they used to go ਉਹ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ they would go to sleep ਜਿੰਨਾ ਵੀ ਘੰਟੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਰਾਮ ਕਰਨਾ. While they're laying one of the nights they started talking in their sleep ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ they were reading Gurbani and then another Gursikh ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ they're like ਅੱਛਾ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਆ. So they started listening and they're like they see the Shabad and the next Shabad and the next Shabad. They just kept on going. It wasn't the same thing over, it was the next thing and the next thing. And so they grabbed a putti and nod baggy and they started following along word for word exactly how they went on for the few hours. And then they grabbed the putti and they put it away. And then the next night Mahampurkh's favorite song so they're listening and then they go and they wait for it. And ਜਦੋਂ ਸਿੰਘ ਗਿਆ ਉੱਥੇ Mahampurkh ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਲੱਗੇ ਫਿਰ they started exactly where they left off the night before, right? Exact time, huh? Basically that's not really a surprise, because in their mind there's nothing but Gurbani. Mandi Pagatiya. So when we wake up, for example, like if somebody like myself, the last thing I see is my Facebook and whatever WhatsApp, and the first thing I see is like, where's my phone? Just let me check my messages, huh? So the first thing, so basically those things, dunya di gallan sochde hain apan, whatever the world is saying. Then one of my cousins, she from BC, she was like having this conversation, oh Bhaji, main simran karna, whatever, but mera man nahi lag raha vagera, I keep getting distracted type of things. And it's like I keep just getting distracted by dunyavi things and stuff like that. मैं कहा चलो एक बात जो गल्ला करते हैं, we talk to a sadhu or कैसे ज्ञानी single चलते हैं, whatever, we can just have this conversation. So चलो I had to go into a room to grab something like whatever, my masi was like, jaake kamre ch kuch le aao, the kamre ch walk in, and right in front of her bed, right, she was a few years younger than me, right in front of this massive life-size like poster of Justin Bieber, the life-size man, get out, she walks in, he's like, Baji, what's going on? I was like, she's right in front of it. She goes to sleep, goes to sleep, and then she wakes up first thing, it's like a chest and the first thing she's trying to these things, but it's going inside of us. We don't understand these, but that image that was right in front of her that time, it went inside of her, and then, I mean, that's, we do that on a daily basis as well. But then ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮਨ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਭਗਦੀ ਹੈ, ਸ਼ਬਦ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਭਗਦੀ ਹੈ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਅੱਖੀਂ ਬਾਝੋਂ ਵੇਖਣਾ, you don't look with these eyes, ਅੱਖੀਂ ਬਾਝੋਂ ਵੇਖਣਾ, ਬਿਨ ਕੰਨਾਂ ਸੁਣਨਾ, and they say ਪੈਰਾਂ ਬਾਝੋਂ ਚੱਲਣਾ, ਬਿਨ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਕਰਨਾ, you don't walk with these feet, you don't do anything with these hands, ਪੈਰਾਂ ਬਾਝੋਂ ਚੱਲਣਾ, ਬਿਨ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਕਰਨਾ, ਜੀਭੇ ਬਾਝੋਂ ਬੋਲਣਾ, you don't speak with this tongue anymore, ਜੀਭੇ ਬਾਝੋਂ ਬੋਲਣਾ, ਇਉਂ ਜੀਵਤ ਮਰਨਾ, this one actually died. That's why I started off, if you want to learn anything, the first thing, because if you actually want to die, you have to die later anyways. Like if you actually want to walk this path, you have to die first as well. So jivat marna. So this is when you've completely died. Because what do? Look, we're looking with our eyes, we hear, then we walk and we touch things, and then we speak. But if we're not doing any of these things, guess what? That's what we call a dead person. A dead person doesn't walk. A dead person doesn't talk. A dead person doesn't do anything with his hands. Of course, that's why. ਜੀਭੇ ਬਾਝੋਂ ਬੋਲਣਾ, ਇਉਂ ਜੀਵਤ ਮਰਨਾ, ਉਦੋਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਉਹ ਮਰ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਦੰਦੇ ਸੇ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੁਕਮ ਪਛਾਣ ਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਖਸਮੈ ਮਰਨਾ, ਉਹ ਹੁਕਮ ਪਛਾਣ ਕੇ, ਇੱਕੋ ਨਾਮ ਹੁਕਮ, ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਸਭ ਕੁਛ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਗੁਰਮੁਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ, this is what this is the third level of ਭਗਤੀ, ਕਿ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਭਗਤੀ, ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ, ਉਹ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹ ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੀਨ ਹੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ. That's why ਸਾਧੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਤੋਂ ਬਿਨਾਂ ਔਖਾ ਹੈ. So I'm gonna, ਇੱਥੇ ਗੱਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹੂੰ.
So we got 10 minutes, so you can wrap it up in 10 minutes.
If you guys have any questions, we'll get up on.
I was gonna ask, like, if somebody like does the karm, right? Regardless of whether it's good or bad, they can say it's either they did it or they can say that Marge made them to do it, right? So if it depends on the person's perspective, right? If he or she is ignorant, they're just gonna answer to whatever he or she knows.
If you look at that question, ki Maharaj made me do it.
Yeah.
So there's still a me, right? If Maharaj made me do it. So that's really, it's like putting the blame on Akalpur. But if there is actually, if you look into the world of Akalpur, ki sara ek hi hai, ki hun Maharaj kende akhin baajjon vekhna, ਪੈਰਾਂ ਬਾਝੋਂ ਚੜਨਾ, ਆਪਣੇ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਕਰਨ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਉਹ ਸਮੇਂ when you actually understand ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ, and if that person has understanding that ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਜਦੋਂ ਹੁਕਮ ਪਛਾਣ ਲੈਂਦਾ, ਉਹ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੇ, ਚਲੋ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਸਭ ਕੁਛ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਰਤਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਹੀ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ, everything is Akal Purkh, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਰਤਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਵਾਮੀ ਜੀ said, ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਮਣ ਕੇ ਬੀਜ ਉਹ ਤਾਰ ਉਹੀ ਹੈ ਚੱਲਦੀ. ਪਰ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ, ਹੁਣ ਜੇ ਸਾਧੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ, I'm gonna come back to your thing. This mala analogy reminded me, if we have a mala sitting here and we're all beads sitting here, and if somebody grabs one mala and lifts it up, right, the rest of them ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਚੱਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ. This is the value of ਸਾਧੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ. The ਸੰਗਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, you're in that sant mandali with them, and when you grab that, when Maharaj ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਚੱਕਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਉਹ ਤੋਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਹੀ ਹੈ, when you associate with them, that ਤਾਰ you get picked up with them. That's the value of ਸਾਧੂਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ. Coming back to your question about ਜਦੋਂ God ਸਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ God made me do this bad thing, ਚਲੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਗਲਤ, I punched him in the face, God made me do it, right? That's kind of, we're blaming God. But in that same thing, there's still two of us. I mean, Gurvani says, जब हम होते तब तू नहीं, अब तू ही मैं नहीं, है ना? Bhagavad Ravidas ji कहते हैं. So in that thing, it was like, when I'm there, then you can't be. Hum mein naam naal virodh hai, right? Hum mein, and if it's a funny thing, naam and man, right? Man meaning pride. If you spell them backwards, it means it spells the other thing. Right, M-A-A-N spelled backwards with N-A-M. So you can solve one or the other. And a cool analogy there. So you can only have man or you can only have naam. So Maharaj thonde to kuch, if you blame that, that's really, their perspective is wrong. You're blaming Maharaj. And you're not understanding what actual that hukum is. Asal de vich oh what chart will dekhiyo, God, your atma, yourself is making yourself doing it. So really the answer is you are making yourself do this. Because it's your ignorance that's making you do this. That makes sense. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਜੀ
where like I haven't heard about like God and City. Like where did you like learn about this?
ਹੁਣ ਚਲੋ ਗਿਆਨ ਦੇ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸਿਖਾਈਆਂ ਹਨਾ ਈਵਨ ਸਮ ਕਾਰਨ ਸਰੀਰ ਸੂਖਸ਼ਮ ਸਰੀਰ ਸਥੂਲ ਸਰੀਰ ਚਲੋ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਆ ਪਰ ਫੋਰ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਲਾਈਕ when we say ਚਲੋ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੀਨੇ ਤਾਪ ਨਿਵਾਰਨ ਹਾਲਤ ਦੁੱਖਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੁਗਰਾਸ ਹੁਣ ਤਿੰਨ ਤਾਪ ਕੀ ਆ ਤਿੰਨ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਤਾਪ what are those some things if we want to look at Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj they're not only the guru of people right? What we call him Jagat Guru right? They're the guru of the entire world everybody but ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਵੀ they're the guru of all granths the granth and the guru so studying any knowledge is not wrong so not going Guru Nanak Dev Ji said not going Hindu not going Muslim they mean it and they're saying that if you study Hindu granths if you study Vedas if you study Quran jo bhi tusi any yoga any prakriya jo bhi tusi study karde ha you study it right because that will help you understand what Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj is saying yeah we can say acha Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj is the easiest but chalo start with Guru Granth start with Japji Sahib and then chalo we can start reading other difficult languages and all this kind of stuff the reality is you don't understand what that is saying until when you read into that gyan so if you want to when we say kal kalesh tan mahe mitao what is kalesh right in that line it doesn't go into the but other granths they explain what that is right so there's certain granths like that they speak about this kind of stuff ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿ ਪੂਰਾ ਟੁੱਟਾ ਪਾਲ this referring to this and say then this refers to the suksham shree the satul sri the jo duniya shahr mein la dastagiri now everything that you see is just a dream ਇਹ ਦਸਤਗੀਰ is not really true and then they say ਦੁਨੀਆ ਮੁਕਾਮ ਮੇ ਫਾਨੀ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਫਨਾ ਹੋਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਹੈ you know what I mean if fana meaning finished destroyed right not fani as in funny I just said that to a kid once I was like dunya mukaam mein funny I was like really the world is that funny see like within that how would you understand what funny is because we don't speak Sanskrit or bridge Pasha or Farsi or any of these things that when Maharaj yak arz guftan praise to the darguzast they say all of these or you have to understand the language but studying it from somebody really makes a big difference so studying this from Mampurks somebody who's walked the path the whole point why I'm saying this I don't know anything jo Mampurk ne sikaya wohi cheez main aage das raha I mean something else there was a cool thing that I think Gyani Singh saying on stage that there's a book called Janta which came in Boliye right I think it's by Ganda Singh Professor Ganda Singh and in that he's like how to speak in public he goes through a bunch of list of things and in that one of the things he says is that when you speak in public you say it in a way that you think that they don't know anything so you think that they don't know anything meaning you keep your talk simple so it doesn't go over their head so they understand so that's what he says and then Sanjay Singh they say that they say the opposite of that Sanjay Singh and Geke they wrote that but to me like obviously Janta means just public right it doesn't mean Sadh Sangat Janta just means public Sadh Sangat is different like I'm speaking to Sadh Sangat which Sangat har prabh said you the Guru is residing with the Sangat when I speak to them I'm not any higher than anybody else I'm not a Sant I'm not a Mahapurush they say that when I speak to the Sangat I'm speaking to the Guru and I'm a guru nu bol raha and basically I'm telling just like a kid learns something in school and he goes home and tells his mom I learned this in class it's like I learned something from my ustads in Santya whatever I learn in Santya I'm going and speaking to my guru that's how they describe it as something completely different right so ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਹੰਕਾਰ ਹੀ ਬਾਹਰ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਮਾਰਿਆ I know more than the Sangat that's the difference between only but see look who's saying this sadhu ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ not somebody else only a sadhu can when you now that's a big lesson to jinne bhi bolan wale prachar every kind of thing right? They basically gave that they let that legacy there put it there did I answer the question I just don't think I go off on things huh? What was the question again? Where just get it yeah Mahampur kande andar gyan de granth bani vich vi zikr hunda hai
the story that you were discussing about that your friend did the the experiment. Like I watched that video, right?
You've seen it?
Yeah, yeah.
The Vols too, so whatever his name is.
Yeah, I think it was something similar, but they chose alcohol instead of choosing food, right? My question is like when he says I can't help it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we were to start think like that, that's not gonna help us either, right? So what do we have to start doing? Like I can't say this like that's my bad habit. I can't help it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do I start doing to improve it, and so that I don't say I can't help it, I'll just have to do it. That's just a bad habit.
Oji, that's why I've referred back to this thing, huh? I'll refer back to ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦੂਸਰਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਚਾਰਟ ਤੇ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਮੇਰਾ ਹੀ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਮੇਰੇ ਅੰਕਲ ਨੇ I gotta go through it again. So here, like for example, to dictate that's a karma you're doing. You're making an action. Okay, I can't make that. And that's a big. My mind is telling me, yeah, I can't make this change. But in order to change your action, in order to change your mind, you need to change your thoughts. But whereas you're gonna get that gyan that goes into your mind, it's gonna be going from the outside. That's why I'm connecting all this back to sadhu and the sangat. But let me tell you another story actually. Do we have like a 10 minutes? Okay, there was a friend of mine, in Calgary, and we grew up together. He used to play tabla. He used to press a few keys on the bajja. He used to play tabla. But he was very, very good. He was born into Sikhi. He wasn't born into Sikhi, but his family got into Sikhi at a very, very young age. And when he was growing up, his mind was very into like basketball, sports, fitness, and all this kind of stuff. But one thing that happened to him when he was around 14, I was around 13 then. He was around 14, and one thing happened to him until he started texting this girl, and within the sangat, very bad, he started texting this girl within the sangat, and until something happened, he went all like crazy, loopy, emotional, and whatever. Oh, she sent me a heart and blah blah blah. And he's like, I'm sorry, true love, man, true love. I'm sitting there like, he gets whatever, a year later, she stops texting him or do whatever, something happened. Now he went in such a state of depression, took that load on him, such a big toll on him. He was from a wealthy family. He used to go and he used to sit in his like crazy BMW car at the age of 14 and sit there and he's like, where can I drive this? Where can I crash it to kill myself, right? Where can I drive this off of a bridge, the edge of a bridge? Where is the? He used to sit on Google Maps saying like, checking if on that bridge is there like a place on the side where I can just drive the car off of. And these are the things that like he told me all this kind of stuff after, but his mind took such a big toll on him, like it was like he couldn't make a different decision, right? But that led him to a different decision, right? So because of that, he was his parents would say, let's go to Sangha, and his parents they're like, to get him to come to Sangha. The way he got that car is he started getting pushed away from, like, I didn't want to play tabla, I didn't want to do any of that kind of stuff. They're like, but we'll buy you a BMW if you go to the Gurdwara, But like they're like, he didn't want to go there, and it's like I go to him, I say, here's a laptop, don't play games. Right? And basically he's gonna do first thing, download and start playing games. When you join the true sangat, when Ote got into all this kind of stuff, he used to love all that kind of stuff. We have this thing we call the Singh's League basketball, right? People outside of the Sangha, they call it Gyani League. So we also used to play basketball. Now we invited a few people that were like, we wanted to get them to come into Sangat. So we organized this thing where everybody would get together and play basketball, because if we just say come to a Kirtan program, those guys would never come. Right? So like just make some friends, create that informal little meeting there, so they think that these guys with the stars, that they're actually normal people, right? And I heard that a few, they're like, meet me, you're actually normal. I was like, thanks, man. And we decided to do that, but the thing is, a few of the things that didn't have, we were talking about the foundation, building that foundation beforehand, depending on what embodiment you're. Sadhu and the Sangat, like true without Sangat, that foundation is difficult. So what ended up happening was those guys that were coming, they had more of an influence on them rather than them having an influence on them. So they started, after basketball, they would hang out with them in the car, they would hotbox, they would do whatever. Smoking weed became a regular, swearing inside, and then the whole environment of the basketball thing just changed. Like it became too competitive. It became all about like, you know, my team's got to win, and people, they would throw the ball, they would swear, they would yell at each other's teammates and stuff like that, and it turned into a mess eventually. But I mean, to Sikh, everybody, somebody that was able to keep his cool there, he's good. He got into that sangat and drugs, वगैरह सब कुछ, जिन्ना सब कुछ शुरू हो गया. And there's many other, I mean, not just one person, right? I'm just generalizing between many people. Is like he's been drugs, you name the worst types of things, but then until they came into sangat, it was impossible. There's no way that they could have even learned a little bit about Sikhi or even like changed their mind, because he's already, if I tell them something cool about Sikhi or Sakhi or Guru Nanak, they'd be like, bro, I already know that, right? He had the knowledge, sab kuch siga. And he wouldn't really care. Post baad, it got really, I'm gonna fast forward here. There came a time when basically I was gonna go, and I was spending time with the Malpurak at that time, and I was gonna go, and he needed to come, he needed to go somewhere, and he was in his drugs or whatever, but he really wanted to, you know, he still had that foundation type of thing. But when he went, he came with like, the intention was like, you know, he wanted to get out of, his parents were told him like, make sure he doesn't get out of the house or whatever, because his intention may be to sell drugs there in California and do all this kind of stuff. So we got into that plane or whatever, into the, we went, and there he didn't want to get out of the sangat. You know, sadhu sangat hui, long story short, when he met that, he shook whatever, something like without the cocaine, he'd be like whatever, crazy, you know. So uston baad, he started like getting into it, sadhu and sangat and Maharaj di kripa naal, and getting into it, because he already loved Kirtan. It wasn't like Kirtan was new to him. He knew all the beats and everything, sare taal pata si, he knew what ek taal was, and something majota. They basically, he would, like at night, he would lay down, he would grab onto the feet of like the Singhs, and like he'd cry, you know, and he'd basically say like, you know, how could I gotten into bad sangat? I was missing out on this, I'm missing out on such things, and there were puddles of like water, tears all over the ground, and you know, like I called the mom, like, you know, he's amazing, you know, he plays tabla with the Singhs and mom's like chardi kala, happiness, sab kuch. But eventually what happened was, when he went back, then he got into back to that same song, like you're saying, mind went completely back over there again. Then he stopped talking to me for a while, and then I was just messaging him one day. He's like, oh, don't talk to me. If you interfere with my life, it's going to bite your life. And I was like, whoa, what the hell, and then he's like, oh, I already know your whatever Sikhi stuff you do, because he's already seen, now he's been to that, but now he's even in a worse state. Now he's not willing to listen to anything, because that thing has just captured his mind again. So, what happened was, see, like, Gyan to bina dhyan rona khaya. I'll get to that in a second. When he came, months went by, right? His mom eventually started saying, like, you know, like, I don't care if you're in Sikhi or not, it doesn't matter to me, just get off these drugs, man. Ruin your life. I don't care what you do, wherever you move, whatever you do, you can do whatever. Just I don't want, because she would explain, when I'm looking at my son, it's like, it doesn't look like my son's talking to me. I would look at him, I was like, I know they have known him since we were kids, and it's like his thing. Why? Because the intention within that, there was no gurmati vichar happening. There was less gyan. So the conversations weren't about what does Guru Sahib says, or what does, you know, spirituality questions, simple of these good questions that are coming up in our minds right now. Your mind, sorry, not my mind. The conversations would lead towards like, who's your favorite basketball team? Then they fight over it and something else, and like I've seen Singhs punch another Singh in the face because he likes LeBron and not Kobe. I'm it's pretty sad to say, right? or like completely stop talking to somebody because yesterday he was wearing a Miami jersey, today he's wearing a Lakers jersey. He's become a bandwagon. So, oh, look what he's doing this. He'd probably stab me in the back too. I was like, oh god. It's completely different. You want me to end here?
Yeah. Everyone just come to the chapel after.
I'm not going to hold you too long. Post he came back. Eventually, he didn't want to go whatever. Basically, but he already met that mom. Sadhu Sangat told me, he's like, now he couldn't hold on. He's like, I want to go whatever. He's like, you know what? Your parents said, you have to go, you just go and stuff like that. He wanted to go, but he's like, I don't want to spend 2-3 weeks like last time. He just want to quickly go. He's like, you got stuff to do. When he went there, basically, he was only there for the weekend. He promised only for the weekend. So when he went there, he went with his parents, but his parents were like, we want him to stay there, like with the mom, but do sadhu, because that's the only thing. We tried everything before to change his mind, and this is the only thing that has worked, right? And when he's there and he's completely isolated from the negative son, nanak chadiyan son to tun se jin san bagya mara se ke sagat sang na kijiye dure jaiye pag, run away from those people that are pulling you to it that way, negative way. He's like, I'm only there for 2 days, but I had to, like, I brought the other tachi, like his full clothes and all that kind of stuff, so I was gonna come there a day later, and so I brought his stuff. He went there and he came into that sangat instantly. He's like there, he's like, oh, it's like, man, I missed you guys, everything, sab kuch ena prem pya sab kuch. Is sadhuan di sangat da orang ja chad gaya, hai na, because that teaching was there, gyan pya, hai na. When he got that gyan, he was able to focus on it before without any gyan. So if I go to any like person off the street and I speak to him and I say, hey, focus on, meditate on Guru Gobind Singh, people are like, what'd you say, Guru Gobind? I don't understand what you're saying, right? And then I show him a picture, like, this is Guru Gobind Singh, man, look at him, right? And they're like, yo, okay, you got a turban, you know, he's got a turban, Osama bin Laden got a turban, right? You're all the same, go back to your own country, right? It might be something like that, because there's no gyan there. So if somebody has the gyan, to that person that cries every night in the remembrance of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, for he knows the history and the life, and he's living the stories of the Shoti Sahibzade inside of his heart every single moment. Every time he wakes up in the morning, he looks into the mirror and he sees Guru Gobind Singh Ji looking back at him. When you say, just go to that person, you don't have to say anything, just mention Guru Gobind Singh, that person is automatically in such a trance of love. Because why? Gyan hai, he knows about it, right? Gyan to bina dhyan nahi lagda. So here he started focusing on with the Mahampurkh, and he's like, oh, I wish I could have stayed, but I don't have my clothes, right? And that's when I arrived at the door, and I was like, here's your clothes, right? And he's like, you planned this too, didn't you? I was like, no. Yeah, I did. I did plan it, right? Basically, and then chalo, he got a little bit mad at me, chalo, whatever, it's okay. Even now, chalo, he's become, now, today, let me just cut the story short. Now, today, I look up to him, right? He's a year older than me, so he's 22 years old, right? And he's there and he's with Mahampurkhs even today, and he's getting married this December, right? And he's such chardi kala gursik that it's difficult for me to like, he's an inspiration to me. Whereas before I'd be like, how can I help this person, right? I was feeling that, even though I was just like, I can't help anybody, whatever, Joe question, but like somebody needs to do something here. So even all of these thoughts, action, karma, body, mind, intellect, we're trying to do this, but without the sadhu sangha to grab your arm and put you on this path, they know how to break your ego. They know how to beat you. They know it. Do you need prem? Do you need to do seva, or do you need to read Barney, whatever, sab kuch. Does this guy need to go? Sometimes Mahampurkhs will come in, they'll like, you know, let me do seva of you type of thing. And they're like, okay, go to the Langar hall, but the person, they'll like do a year seva in Langar hall. But that person won't be willing to accept that. Because the sadhus know what the person needs in their minds. So chalo, while speaking, talking, I made many mistakes. It's great, this talk was quite informal, so you got to ask a few questions. Obviously, I'm going to say it again, I don't know, I'm a 21-year-old kid, I don't know anything, so if we have questions, there's so many Gurmukh Pyare here that we can ask for, and then they can lead us to Guru Sahib. Guru Sajjan De Milai Diyo. So that's why we can speak our hearts out to them, they can grab you and lead you to the Guru, where somebody else might break you, right? So the last Narangu ke Deho Deho Sajjani Sisriya, Deho Sahib Singh, and then at the end of it, we always say, Kisi Pyare Milan Jina Mila, Tera Naam Hi Jitave. So let's all say Fatih now just before we head out. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.